taking over, that's a promise, not a threat.
Uppercut season, no top, you stop breathing.
We have basically 2 more topics, not long topics, but definitely stuff we want to bring up. Non-boxing, so myself and LB, LB actually was the one who texted me like, "Hey, that new Mortal Kombat movie's out," and I was like, "What you talking about? Snow Blind?" And I was like, "Oh shit!" Because I seen the trailer for that earlier, but it's one of those things like you see a trailer for it and then you kind of forget that it's coming out. So
I got hyped. I called this motherfucker actually.
Oh, actually, you did. That's what you did. You did call him.
He was busy. Like I be forgetting sometimes. I called this motherfucker like an early afternoon on some random.
Yeah, you did. You absolutely did.
I think it was a Monday. Like it was one of those like, yo, what the fuck?
Right. Yeah. I was like, but he told me, but either way, but that's how we are because, like I said, me and him, like we watch one of the things like we violent cartoons, man, and the Mortal Kombat joints are off the chain, so it's like
there hasn't been a bad one, but this one is like they made up for the last one, which we thought would have been great.
Yeah, this is the 3rd one in the franchise. The first one was Scorpion's Revenge, which was goddamn.
Was epic, a 10 all day, one of the probably the best Mortal Kombat media since the first motion picture.
Yeah, that one was just raw. That was like raw like oysters and raw sex and shit. Like that shit was just raw.
Yeah. Oh baby, I like it raw.
Yeah, ODB type raw. And then
I make sure everything we do is raw. That's that Busta Rhymes. It's like it was every raw from the 90s, nigga. It's like
and then Battle of the Realms, which I don't complain this because I think they try to fit too many storylines into such a short amount of time.
Yeah. Like the Battle of the Realms, it had potential, but it was just too discombobulated. It didn't have the flow like Scorpion's Revenge, and as for a final type of, it was the Mortal Kombat story that was supposed to end. Is like like the final conclusion.
Exactly. Yeah.
It didn't really hit hard for like a final conclusion. It kind of just was like, eh.
Yeah, where Scorpion's Revenge was just borderline demonic to watch. It was just
it ended nicely and it set the table for the next one. It just the next one didn't end like it was supposed to. It didn't hit like it was supposed to story wise.
Right.
I mean, it was still brutal and violent, but like it like Scorpion Revenge just set the bar too high.
Right. Exactly.
So it's like they couldn't give you like they couldn't imagine you getting Terminator 1 and then you getting Terminator Judgment Day as the sequel as the 3rd one instead of 2.
Right.
So like that's how this shit was. So okay, they did that one. And then you had the motion picture Mortal Kombat joint they did that was trash.
Yeah.
And we got on that.
That's one of the biggest disappointing movies of that year. I don't think there's no movie I hated more than that one.
And we was hyped up for that movie too. And
because the trailer was perfect. It was like it was a goddamn
everything ended up being better than that movie. So
right,
like fucking King Kong Godzilla was better. Like just everything was fucking better than that movie.
Even the fucking Tom and Jerry movie that was fucking better. It was like, good lord. And
like Sonic 2, everything was better. So yeah, so they kind of had like two missteps in a row. One mid and then one just awful.
Right.
So now they come back with this Mortal Kombat Legends Snow Blind. And these niggas, they did it the right way. They first of all they didn't try to throw every character into the fucking movie.
Right.
They focused on a pretty good amount and said, look, we're gonna make this amount work, and that helped the story a lot. And another thing, they got in some of the newer characters, the less popular ones, and they gave them shine.
Yeah, Kenshi is obviously one.
That and Tremor and some more, but and they made them raw, and they still had some of the OG characters in there just to keep
like,
that balance.
Yeah, like there's Scorpion made his appearance in there, and Shang Tsung, and
Kano and
Cabal,
Cabal. So it had everything going for it as far as that. The story setup was good.
Yeah.
The plot, the pacing, the animation was on point. The fighting is violent. Like,
sure.
They didn't go crazy with the powers like they did in the second one. That's what kind of made Scorpion's Revenge so dope, because they had the right balance with the violence and the gore and the fighting itself and the powers. I
mean, shit, the movie started off with like heads getting sliced off, spines getting ripped out.
It was your classic village rampage. So
like people get impaled on shit, getting set on fire, like headshots, like honestly, it was like your brains were just like all on the floor, man. That was that type of violence, and then it was dope though. And then obviously they really fleshed out Kenshi and as the main character. Obviously if you played the Mortal Kombat game and stuff like that, his story and stuff like that, and they do a good job in animating that out. And subsequently also like the training sequences in there and stuff like that.
Yeah, because him and Sub-Zero are like the two main characters. That's how you get like the Snow Blind. I know I'm sounding like Peter Griffin or some, and that's why they call it Superman 4 Quest for Peace type shit. But I making it a little obvious, but
But then, like all that, like just the fact that the way they built the story, and then obviously when it gets to the final act, it's just again, it's ridiculously just brutal and violent. On everything is just like, this was perfectly acceptable. Every shit of it, like there was nothing about this shit I hated at all. Like everything about it was too cold. Like it was cold as fuck. Like and
the fighting, like, and it was like the fighting was on some no mercy shit. Like maybe the Tremor Kenshin.
that shit was almost like hard to watch, because it was like, god damn, like you didn't have to do Kenshi like that. Like, jeez, like,
that fight was like hilarious. Like that fight was so brutal. Like, and just the talking and the vibe is what made the fight more than what it was. It felt like I was watching like a top ranked jobber fest.
Yes. Yeah, and the guy who voiced Kano in this shit, he did a good job. Kano was not as high powered as he was in this movie. Kano was just a motherfucker to deal with in this movie. Yeah, to lack of a better idea.
It's like he knew it too, because Kano was flexing all in this shit, like, and the way he just like, motherfuckers thought they had a chance against him, and just
only for him to commit some real atrocities, like horrible atrocities.
Yeah, like honestly, you'll love this film. I don't know if you could put it on as good as Scorpion's Revenge. The only difference with Scorpion's Revenge is it follows the traditional main storyline of Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, it does. It doesn't deviate.
And you get more characters in it. So that's the only way. Like, that movie was a 10. This one, like, it's really a 10 in its own right, but it probably ends up being a 9 because there's a clear difference between Scorpion's Revenge and Snow Blind.
And then most of it is just really the animation. Like, the animation in Scorpion's Revenge was like almost damn near groundbreaking for some.
Yeah, it just was more visceral.
Yeah,
more dynamic, like more. But I think having more characters in there, because you had Quan Chi, you had Goro, Shang Tsung, you had Scorp. Like, you had mad motherfuckers in that one, and it worked.
Right.
It's like you had your main characters, but then you also had some good supporting characters. You know, this one you had you had your two main characters and you had supporting characters, but it worked. It was great, but I don't know if I could put it on the same level as Scorpion Revenge. But if Scorpion Revenge is a 10, this is like the closest to a 10 you'll get for not being a 10. So it's a 9.
Right.
And the second one, the last one with Shao Kahn and all them niggas, that's probably more like a 7.
Right.
So this definitely redeemed itself. Like the series definitely redeemed itself with this one.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with the 9. I have that too, and you know, I like the Mad Max theme type animation shit that went on in this. Like it was
that Fist of the North Star vibe. That
right.
Go to city, just taking over shit and just like, we need a savior.
Right. Oh man, but yeah, no, our full recommendation to go watch. It is out now in your favorite platforms, or streams, or wherever wherever you go to watch this. But yeah, we fully recommend this. Yeah,
and if you just want to keep it gangster, make sure you see that Tekken off of Netflix too.
Yeah, that shit was also tough as well. Yeah, the funny thing too is Tekken is the one franchise. Like, I mean, I've actually watched their attempt on the live action version, and I'm just like, no, no.
Yeah.
But they get it right on the cartoons though. They got it right.
If y'all ever seen the Dead or Alive live action movie, that was actually pretty dope.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember who starred in it. There is one nigga who's in it that's famous. I think he was from the Best of the Best series. Or maybe he was Two-Face in Batman, the Dark Knight series.
You talk about was it Aaron Eckhart?
Nah, wait. No, maybe. Nah. It's somebody else. But but the Dead or Alive movie was dope. I'm just, there's no other video game motion picture I could think of that was.
Let me see, because I'm just trying to see, because it was it was done in 2006. That was a minute ago.
Yeah. Because I played the game the other day. Like, I was playing fucking Soul Calibur.
That was a classic.
Yeah.
Let's see, Mr. Devin Aoki, Eric Roberts. You thinking about him?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, Eric he was always the one that was always in the, he's always in the beat action movies of the day. So
but he was in Best of the Best, right? Yeah. Oh, okay. I know Eric something, but yeah, he was in it. But yeah. So yeah, that's definitely for the animation. That's Cyberpunk Edge Runner. That's another joint to check out. That's crazy. It's probably one of the best anime of the year. So, but yeah, definitely Mortal Kombat. Y'all motherfuckers, make sure y'all watch that. But I had to just throw out some other shit.
Yeah, including the 2 other members of our cast.
Yeah.